Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Seal Podcast, episode number 262 for the 28th of February. That's the last day of the month, 2025. I'm your host, Fraser. I'm joined on my left by Neil,
Hello.
and on my right by no one, because
Yes.
Dave's not here. Last minute dropout.
He's poorly boy.
Yeah, oh well. So
Mr.
be it.
Sympathetic.
No. I am sympathetic. No, that's an oh well, as in oh well. It's okay. We can get on with it. It's not a big deal. Like it's not a big deal for us to get on with the show. It's a big deal that Dave is not feeling.
Yeah, we don't like it when people aren't feeling well, but we like.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you put that at the end. So welcome to the show. What happened last week? Were we here last week? I can't even remember. Yes, we did a show last week, didn't we?
You had no games, so that's probably why you don't remember it.
I got no games again. I don't think. I'm not.
I guess we'll be talking about Hunt Showdown later, because
Sure, why not? All right. I'm
got
a little
Mid-Safe
bit
and
befuddled.
Sumu saying hello. Well, Mid-Safe said hello, and Sumu said there's definitely something going round.
There's tons going around. I just don't get
It's
it
that
because I
time of
never
year,
go.
isn't it?
I never step outside my house. I
You're
feel
like
like
a
I'm
hermit.
I'm a hermit trapped in here. That's okay.
Is
I'm
that
supposed to be going.
I meant to ask you before we went live, but now we're live anyway. Is that a suction device in the background I can see?
It is. That is my suction device. That's my Mila.
It's quite big. It's quite tall.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that
It's a
could
long
be
hose
lower.
you've got on that.
Yeah. So a child has put that away, and they're too lazy to
They didn't put it away.
wrap things up nice. They're too lazy to even put it where it's supposed to go. They just dumped it in my office.
Well, if they used it, I guess that's
But
progress.
at least they used it. Yeah, so that's okay. Fair play to the children. They are good. They do. We ask them to do some stuff, jobs here and there, and they do their chores. So they're good. It's good.
How do you get them to do that then? Do you beat them if they don't?
The beatings will continue. I don't know. I think it's just we just allocated jobs to them, and now they've been doing them for so long. It's just you still have to they're not gonna do. Don't make no mistake. They're not getting off their arses to do the jobs, right? Unless they are told.
Commenting like, "Have you done your jobs?"
This is how it goes, right? So my son normally does the vacuuming, and my daughter cleans the bathrooms, right? The bathrooms can't get done until the vacuuming's done, right? Which is a massive get out clause for my daughter. So she just has to wait. And the thing about the vacuuming is my wife will leave in the morning or whatever. Stan, I need you to do the vacuuming or whatever. Or no, she'll leave me to say, can you get Stan to do the vacuuming, right? Because he's a teenager. He doesn't get up till the afternoon.
I thought he had a job.
He does, but it's like he's got odd hours and he doesn't work every day. So
must be nice.
But I mean,
who else would have a job like that?
The thing is, I work from home, right? So during the week, I'm like, dude, I don't want to ask him to do the vacuuming. I don't need to hear that right now. And so he doesn't get asked very much by me. I don't tend to pass that message on. And then even when he does get asked, it sort of goes by the wayside until you actually grab him and go, dude, you need to do the vacuuming. Do it now, right? And then he'll do it. But you know what it's like. Well, I don't know.
I know what it's like asking for things that will never happen. That's what I know.
Do your kids do anything? My kids do all their own.
They usually fucking moan when they get asked to do something. Yeah, that's what that happens.
Oh, yeah. I wish my kids.
Can you do the washing up? No. Oh, thanks.
Oh yeah. No, we don't get no's. Like if we ask them to do something,
well, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do that. Oh right.
Oh yeah. Well, there's always that. Yeah. Well, okay, you can do that, but you are going to do what I asked you to do. Right,
yeah, we get some washing up done occasionally. My boy's the one. He's a right fucking stroppy little fucker at the minute. Every time he gets asked to do anything. Do you do in your revision that you said you were going to do? No, I don't. Stop looking at me. Stop looking. Yeah.
Welcome to the Bitch and Moan podcast.
Make the most of those tender young years before they grow into young adults.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched, there was a video that I saw. I'm really into my YouTube at the moment more than I've ever been, right? I find that...
You've been getting sucked into the algorithm, have you?
The algorithm makes me laugh, right? Because of the stuff it shows me. Like I get tons and tons of car stuff because I'm interested in all that sort of stuff. But the last day or two, there was, I don't know how I saw it. There's a video. It's an old classic video, I'm sure of. It's like 25+ million views, right? And it's this kid in the back
Charlie
seat of a
bit my
car.
finger.
It's something like that, you know. It's this guy. It's just a picture of a kid in the back of the car and the dad, and he's cute as a button, right? He's so cute, and he's tiny. He can only be about somewhere between, you know, around about 2 years old or something like that. His dad's like, "You tired, bud?" And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "You're doing well to stay up, aren't you?" "Yeah." And then he's just still staring at his dad. His dad goes, "You know, you can go to sleep if you want." And he just crashes, right? Just straight, drops his head down and he's gone. My whole YouTube algorithm now is filled with the videos of like child sees dad driving the train or child gets excited at something or whatever. Like, and I've just,
A little
and
bit concerning. Not gonna lie.
well, I mean, you know what? I mean, there's two things, right? You can go down. We can do that. Ho ho ho! It's very disconcerting phrases looking at videos of kids or whatever like that, right? But honestly, they're
You're basically
so
going to be a granddad soon, though. So
yeah. I mean, but honestly, that algorithm is fine. Those videos, like honestly, some of them are so cute. I'm just feel like I'm gonna just well up right in a minute and go, this is just it's just too cute
I
beyond
remember
words. I
when
need
mine were
it.
like that.
It's like when I used to go see the, you know, when my kids were in their younger schools, and you know, be like, oh, you got to go to the school play, right? And you'd be like, oh, for fuck's sake, I got fucking school play, right, or whatever. Fuck, you know,
What would you
whatever.
give for going for a school play right now?
Oh, I'd give anything to go to a school play now,
Yeah.
especially those younger years. It
Oh,
was
when they're little.
it was so soul cleansing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it was just it's you know, so I need more.
Yeah.
We need more of it, don't we?
Those days are long gone. There's
Well,
nothing
I
soul
guess that
cleansing these days.
no, but you know what? I get it. I get
Other
that
people's
grandparent.
kids.
I get that grandparent thing. I get why people are like, "Where are my grandchildren? I want grandchildren." I get it now
Yeah.
because you're gonna get those kids, get the cuteness, get the affection, and then you're gonna hand them back before all the shitty stuff starts starts to happen, right? Before they get annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't get annoying
No, never. No.
much. Um. Yeah. Sumu was just saying. This was in reference to you being a hermit, I believe. He's the same. Walks the dogs, showers, and then he gets in his jams. He gets called being boring, which is probably true, but he loves it anyway.
Who, Christian?
Yeah.
Mate, that is my life too. I get up, take the dog out, come back, work, try and find food, try and make food for others. I honestly, by the end of the day at 6 o'clock, I go to bed, man. You know that anyway.
Yeah.
I just
That's at
live to
like
go to
2 o'clock
bed,
for me in the morning. 2
lame,
a.m.
what a
UK
lame
time is
life.
your bedtime.
We had so you're aware we've had the snowmageddon over here, right?
Yeah.
So that's been the big thing. This is more like the what have we been doing. So but a lot of my week has been taken up with tackling the ice and the snow and
It's
had to tackle the
still
ice.
cold, is it?
Yeah, it's gone back down cold again. So we had a brief glimpse of spring. And I went out and you got a taste of it, right? It was like, oh, it's fairly mild. I
Nice.
saw my neighbor walk out with a t-shirt on. And she's brave, but yeah, she went out with a t-shirt. I'm like, oh, it's a taste of spring. And you're like, that's it, great. I'm done. I'm done with winter. Bring it back. What happens the next day? Snows. I'm just like, God's sake.
Well, we had a similar thing. We had, months of miserable, grey, cold, wet days. Then a couple of days this week, it's been lovely and sunny. And I was like, oh, isn't it lovely? And then, what happens next? It's grey and cold and miserable
Back to
again, isn't it?
normal.
And raining.
Here's what you're missing. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, we had a really nice, I think it was quite nice today. One day this week, it was fucking minging. It was proper, absolutely pissing it down. Cold. Just horrible. But
Oh, you know
good,
what we didn't
thankfully.
do?
I was at work. You didn't go at Craigie, did you?
No.
That's because we were in a rush.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to call him in now.
Now recording.
I'll give my son more time in Snapchat because he's playing clubs on EAFC with his mates.
All right.
Do you know what clubs is?
Clubs? No.
It's where they all play a position. So they have to they're literally one of them is a striker and they run around as the striker.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so there's 8 of them or whatever playing, all on one team.
That's I think that sounds all right. I'm not sure whether it is.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many of them. I said 8. I might be lying. Might be exaggerating. He told me some of them have literally just one player, and he plays everybody else. He's like the rotator, like the glory boy. Yes, the greedy fucker who takes every control of every other player. But yeah, let's give him some time. What time is it?
Right. Well, as you heard, we sort of forgot to bring Craig in, so I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe we'll just.
Well, you'll have to harvest the audio from Twitch again.
I don't know if I'm going to do that because the quality's so shite.
Really?
Maybe I could do that. Yeah, you know what? Maybe
You shouldn't be. We're getting decent quality from
actually,
Discord.
yeah. What are the levels? What are the levels like on?
It looks okay this time because I didn't fuck up like I did last time.
That was the problem we had last time. Okay, so yeah, we can harvest that fine.
There's only me and you, which makes it easier.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Anyway, you can check it. It looks okay from my end.
I'll check it out. All right. Let's before we waffle too much. Let's.
Some people per se probably aware already.
Oh my god, I don't want to talk about football.
Why not?
I had the worst score of the league this week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't noticed that little nugget. Let's talk about football. Well, honestly, I thought I'd done shit, and I saw you'd done worse than me, and I was like, well, at least I wasn't the worst one. But I hadn't looked at everybody else to find that you were actually the worst of the week. I got beat by Chipper Spice in the head-to-head. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. The shame of it.
Unreal.
Yeah. So I only lose to the shit teams, apparently, in the head-to-head. Not everyone. But, yeah, I've definitely lost a lot. I've lost to Crazy Cupcakes, and they were like bottom of the league near enough when they lost to them. I was like, how have I lost this game? I don't understand. Yeah, it was a bad week for me last week. It was a good week for Luis Estevez.
Oh, yeah?
He's up to second, got 61.
Ooh.
Joel Reeves, he didn't catch much there. Joel Reeves got a 58. Mr. Kinsit, minor wobble, 51 points. So
man, they're up and down at the top, right?
Yeah. It's close. It's 14 points between the top four. So it's pretty close. So every time someone's like, there's a little bit of this way and that way, there's usually a few positions maybe moving. Depends who does it. Luciano had a equally okay week, 51 points. So he dropped to fourth because Lewis jumped a pair of them. Nathan's 53 for the week. There was a lot of similars in the low 50s. Some people got less than that, aka you and me. I was frothing.
Here's the thing, right? I am 20. Where am I? 28th now, back down to 28th. Like I'm pretty much bottom of the league, right? But overall rank, I'm halfway. I'm banging the average.
Yeah, our league's okay. Is that what you're saying? We've got a pretty competitive league.
That's how hardcore our league is.
Yeah, it's only good players in our league.
Not sure about that.
Apart from this one, obviously. Who was top score? 72. Tim Kelly. He's done a wild card the other week, I believe. Don't know if it was this week or last week. So he seems to have picked all right players because he got a decent score.
Tim. What did he get?
72.
Chris Jackson got 85.
Oh, wow. That was a lot further down the league. That's why I didn't see that. Yeah, 85. That
Come on,
stonker.
Come down. I hang out down there. I see these things.
You realised that he doubled your score last week. And an extra
point. And he
took
a -4 as well.
Oh, sorry, he didn't quite double your gain then. Do we have a look at his team? See what he's doing. Spoil it.
And
he's got assistant manager. Yeah, well, they were playing Southampton, where everyone captained, well, not everyone captained Palmer, but people were captaining Cole Palmer thinking he's got a score against Southampton, even though he hasn't scored for about 7 weeks.
On another day, he could have had 2 or 3.
Oh, he had Cucurella as well. He was 15 points. And he had Forrest, a friend, goalkeeper. He had lots of points at the back last week. It was a pretty good all-round week, actually, to be fair. Got a couple of points on the bench, 6 points.
Yeah, screwed me. So he's leapfrogged me. Jackson.
Yeah, a new nemesis at the bottom of the table. So yeah, it was a few decent scores, Val. 60s, 70s. My boy got 54. I was absolutely screwing it because Haaland scored 2 goals, but one of them was. I flicked onto the commentary, and the commentator was saying, "Well, the VAR told him there was nothing to overrule the decision, which was a goal." They thought, but apparently the referee had decided it wasn't a goal. And No, so he only scored one goal where he'd actually put the ball in the back of the net twice, and one was ruled out for handball, apparently. I was like, I haven't looked at it because it pissed me off too much. So he would go back and have a look.
I actually had a bit too much football this week. I couldn't really watch much of the midweek stuff. I had enough.
Well, because it was just not going your way. Does
FPL
no, it wasn't make you not enjoy the football sometimes?
No, I think the weekend before I watched almost every match. Certainly, I watched like at least 4 or 5 full matches, and then
you overdone that the week before.
Yeah, and then like midweek, so I haven't got enough time to try and catch 4 or 5 matches in one night. It's not going to happen.
Well, I only watched one a night.
But I was footballed out. No, I generally felt a bit footballed out this week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, we've got Champions League next midweek, I think. We've got FA Cup this weekend. So no FPL until the following weekend. So I've got plenty of time to update the website. Not like the last few weeks where I've had to fucking ram it in quickly between like literally one day to fucking do it if I don't do it. Christian says he's getting paranoid that we hate Forest. Don't know where you get that idea. And the FA Cup is a fantastic palate cleanser.
I was thinking about Forest the other day. I was like, do I hate them? I was like, do I hate them or not?
I just hate the fact they're more popular than other teams.
No, you know what it is? I just really hate teams that bitch and moan. And there's a period of Forest just bitching and moaning all the time. But I even notice about things like Bournemouth. Like I really like Bournemouth. Like, right, I think they're great. But Areola, just occasionally the mask slips, and it turns out he's a bit of a cunt as well. So,
wow, don't normally hear that from you. Did Pilch just enter the chat? Even I don't use that word very often. Well, not unless I'm really sure.
It's a free for all tonight.
That's where we're going tonight, is it? No, I'll try not to use that word. I don't have to try. It's not in my vocabulary.
And Slot the other day or whatever, at the end getting the red card. Or I mean, fucking.
That was Everton game though.
I understand, and he did apologise after the fact.
Yeah,
right.
He said he lost it.
These managers need to step it up and show some decorum. Come on, like you know what?
It's just the Premier League.
Oh, the stress.
It's not fucking Turkey.
Yeah, all right.
Have you heard all that business?
The other thing, though, about Forest is, though, I did catch some interviews with Nunes or whatever, and I was just like, no, he's actually Nuno, whatever his fucking name is. Yeah, he's all right. Wow. He's all right. So it is the bitching and moaning that just catches me. I'm just.
I think it's the owner. The owner doesn't help.
It's top down, isn't it?
Yeah, he sets the.
If it was bottom up, Christian is a prime example that if it was bottom up, I mean, we'd love him.
Right? You know what? The one that does wind me up though is when they start singing about the Premier League being corrupt as fuck. I'm like, because someone didn't get a free kick. I'm like, for fuck's sake, shut up. That's a wind up. But other than that, it's the 2 stars thing, isn't it? Though they haven't won anything for fucking years, and they've got 2 stars on their fucking badge.
They love it.
It's on the fucking screen. I'm like,
I know there is
that part of your emblem?
Dining out on that for the next God knows how long. God, anyway.
Obviously, Spurs haven't got anything on there, but you know, it's not like Man City have got fucking about 17 around their fuckers. Not now, is it? Or like, do Real Madrid have stars around theirs? They couldn't have room. It would just be a load of stars. No fucking badge.
That would just be all a star outfit, right?
Anyway, enough ribbing.
We can learn to love Forest.
I don't know about
that.
We
can learn to love. Well, yeah, we'll see.
I can tolerate. There is love, though, isn't it? Tolerate. That's the same thing.
Yeah, tolerate our families.
Yeah, I don't know. We kind of waffled a bit there, but
that's all right. It's given me a chance to put some stuff into the old what we've been up to.
Oh, you've actually done stuff, have you? What was I going to say about football? Should we just move on to head-to-head anyway? Yes, there's usual suspects at the top of the fucking league. Pain in the arse. Not me. Head-to-head matches. There are 2 draws, which is almost, I think it's unprecedented in the same game week to have 2 draws.
Obviously, I didn't win my game.
Well, no. Matt Arnold and Christian Barkley drew 58 points each. And also, Mr. Kinsit drew with Luciano, who I believe mistakenly thought he'd won that game. earlier on in the week. He'd calculated incorrectly that he'd won that fixture, but it was a draw. The top two, I believe. Yeah, your old mate Gary beat you 60 points to 42. The average was, fortunately for you, the average team got beaten again, so you are still only 2 points adrift of the average now. Dave lost after a couple of good weeks to Mark Allport. Lewis will bark. Lewis and beat the Garfather, Mike Redmond. There's a lot of close games actually last week. Did anyone get actually thumped? Yeah, Chris Jackson 81 to Elusive Man's 51 was the biggest win, I think. But other than that, it was quite a few close games. I got beat by 10 points in the end. Fucking. So that leaves us with Mr. Kinsey at 3 points clear of Luciano. Obviously, they drew with each other. And my wife is third still, just a single point behind second, with Lewis 2 points further behind in fourth, and Mr. Barkley is fifth, joint points with Gary. There's a lot of Forest representation at the top of our league. This is the reason we don't really like Forest, because they're all the fucking ones winning all the fantasy football games. Yeah, and then it's on the bottom. Yeah, 2 points adrift still. Catching up.
Can I get off the bottom?
I reckon you can do it.
Yeah, I can.
You can beat the average, maybe. I'm not sure about anybody else. Daisy Reed's played a wild card now, so you're a bit screwed there as well. Yeah, because she did all right, I think.
She's awoken.
Yeah. She plays the game twice a season. I don't know if hopefully she got rid of some of the old duffers that literally have not played since the first week of the season because they left the Premier League and went to foreign shores. But yeah, I think that's enough of that. Like I said, it's FA Cup this weekend. Chelsea playing? Can't remember. We've got a championship game because we're shit. We being Luton, obviously, absolutely horrendous. We've got all the good teams to play.
We're out. We got knocked out.
Yeah.
We got knocked out by Brighton, didn't we?
We got knocked out by... who did Exeter play? Was that... No, we got knocked out by Forest. And then they nearly got knocked out by Exeter or whatever, didn't they? Or it looked like they were playing struggling. I can't remember. Anyway, I might be lying a bit. It's Pilch v Pilch this week, is it? Or was that last week? I didn't notice that. It was both the Battle of the Pilches, yeah. Mr. Reed beat his daughter 55 to 48 last week. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, FA Cup, then it's Champions League midweek before the Prem is back next week. You've muted yourself, so I'm going to have to talk now, have I?
Sorry about that. I've just got to find it's an emergency. Find out if somebody fed the dog.
Uh-oh. I'm sure he'd tell you that he hadn't been fed, even if he had been.
Yeah, he would, yeah. So,
yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. Is that enough football then?
Yeah, it's more than enough football. What's next then? We're doing the listener stuff, is it?
Do we have listener stuff?
Well,
what have we got?
Chipper Spice tagged us in something on the old Blue Sky. Someone else asked a question and she said, outseerpodcast.com. Which was? It was Andres, please? Andre, is that Andres? I don't know. Do people care about game reviews anymore?
Actually, I do believe publishers care about game reviews, don't they? Wasn't there a big stink a while back that there was a lot of
stuff was tagged with Metacritic. A lot of
performance, right? Metrics and stuff, yeah.
And like whether you were going to get kept
bonuses
on the job.
Yeah.
But now they just sack everyone anyway, even if your game's done well.
Everyone is getting sacked now.
Are we going to get games in 2 years' time? 3 years' time? 4 years' time?
We're not going to be getting any big games.
Is that it? Apart from PlayStation.
I don't know.
Everything's fucked, Dave, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Everybody's dead, Dave. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of reviews, like I don't know, the internet used to go mad about numbers without reading any context, usually. But I find it, I don't know, it's the internet's ruined your brain. You ain't got time to read a massive, long, wordy review to find out whether you agree or not with what they're talking about. And you just need like the verdict, the bullet points at the end, like the good bits and the shit bits of each game is what I'd like in a review. Like, to then, because if I just get a few points, like, if you like this, good. If you don't like X, then you're probably out. That's probably all I need from a game review, really. But I do read some of them, depend on the game, really.
Yeah, I can't think that I've read a review for a long time. And we're a little bit... See, for us, well, for us, anyway, for me, most of my stuff I'm going to play is on Steam anyway. So I can just buy
billions of reviews.
Well, you can just buy it anyway, and if you don't like it, you refund it. Steam's, that's been in place by Steam now for a few years and is absolutely phenomenal. I've definitely refunded more games than I've bought. And then a lot of games are on recommendation, right?
What? You can't refund more games than you've bought, surely, because you had to buy the games to refund it.
Sorry, refunded more games than I've kept. I beg your pardon. You're quite right. But a lot of games are on recommendation, and actually, thinking about it, I mean, I've been a hardcore gaming podcast listener since about 2009, 2010. And so almost everything since then has been about getting to know the list, getting to know who you listen to on the podcast, getting a feel for if they like and describe, the kind of games that you want to play. And then there's your recommendations. I mean, I would probably say 90% of all recommendations are from listening to people on podcasts. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I would definitely, the more like professional podcasts, I definitely pick up games from those. Because, I mean, it's weird now. Everything's broken, obviously. The people who are making games are getting busted. The people who cover video games have been like totally shafted over the last 5 to 10 years. The covering of video games industry has completely changed. As much as now the making of video games is completely changing. And so like the ones that have always been like the GameSpots and the what have you of the past, who are now doing podcasts like Giant Bomb people and things like that. I listen to them, but not every week now. But I've definitely picked, like, I'm pretty sure I've definitely picked up a few gems from those podcasts. Like the Case of the Golden Idol. I definitely heard about that on something like one of those podcasts. And I was like, that sounds quite cool. And then I checked it out. There was a demo, great. Checked it out. I was like, yeah, this is really clever and like nothing else I've played before. And I've loved all of those games since they've come out. So there's like definitely, I like to listen to those every now and again. And like Balatro, I think I'd heard about that on a podcast before I went. I was like, that sounds interesting. And then obviously it was your crack for about a year. A good 6 months at least. Maybe a year or more.
You just see me type in what I've been playing.
So, yeah, I've definitely picked up some good ones from there. And now, I was listening. Do you know, you heard of Rebel FM? You must have heard of Rebel FM. That's been a podcast around for fucking years now.
Maybe.
So, they've changed who's been on it over the years a bit, but there was Anthony Gallegos. He used to be on IGN. I think Arthur Geese as well. They all come from like journalism, but they're doing some of them as like, what's his name? Anthony's doing development now on Subnautica, or whatever the sequel to that is. And Arthur Geese is still doing like journalism, but not pure video games and all that sort of stuff. And there's the other guy, Matt, who's on there, who's Area 5. You heard of them? They make the videos about video games and stuff. A lot of that sort of stuff. Yeah, so they do it. They look like a video production company. So I listened to them for a good long time. And Anthony is playing Hunt Showdown now. Again. Like, he's dipped in and out. There's loads of stuff that, like, he talks about. It's like, he's definitely a noob. He's definitely on noob levels. Probably a 2-star. But it's interesting to hear them go through these cycles of, like, because he's the one who plays a lot of live service games, kind of thing. So he plays Fortnite a lot with his wife, and then before that it was whatever, can't remember. And it's loads of Rainbow Six Siege they used to play. So I kind of vibe with him. I'm into the same sort of games as he's in, and but then he plays sort of right random stuff as well. So I like them because they play weird shit as well as big games. And they're like vets of the industry, if you like. So I like their opinions.
Which goes back to my point about you find a level of trust. I guess it's more you're just getting the review is delivered in a different way than we traditionally.
Yeah. It's not, you don't read it, you listen to it.
Yeah, you don't read it, and there isn't a big 7.5 in red written at the top of whatever it is you're getting. You're getting probably a far more detailed review by listening to podcasts.
You can hear the
maybe more emotionally
or lack
driven.
Of. Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than being a diplomatic review, I like the fact with maybe not the professional podcasts, which I've never really listened to. I just like amateur bullshit, right?
And I wouldn't call them a professional podcast. They're a long-running podcast, but they're not on behalf of any outlet sort of thing.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, well, that's okay then. So yeah. It's just reviews in a different form, I guess.
Yeah. There you
go. All right. That was it then. Is that it for listening?
That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on then to what we've been doing. I've got a load on here, so I'll start. I'm still watching Hotspot on Netflix. I think we just did episode 4. No, it didn't live. I didn't live up to the other 3. So yeah, that was a little bit disappointing. But we'll see. Well, get another episode this week, and hopefully it goes back. It went a little bit. What happened in this one this week? I can't remember. It just felt a little bit slower and flatter. But then again, maybe
I haven't watched anything past the episode 2 that we watched like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I need to go back.
I don't watch telly.
It's difficult. Although I did. So anyway, the other thing I started watching this week was Blackbird. I don't know why. I just needed to sit down. So it's on Apple TV, and it's Taron Egerton gets.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's just the thing where he's like he works in the airport or something, and he basically has to smuggle something.
No, that's the movie. That's the movie. No, this is a series. So he's a big time drug dealer.
Okay, bit different.
Yeah, and he's like, good looking, young, successful. Well, say successful in quotation marks as a super drug dealer.
Dealing drugs.
In dealing drugs, yeah, whatever. Anyway, he gets busted, and they send him to prison, and then he's in prison. He's certainly in for at least 10 years. He thought he took a plea deal. He thought if he took the plea deal, he'd go in for 2, but they fucked him over, and he ended up going in for 10 minimum. And then they come to him in prison, and because he's just super. It's Taron Egerton, right? Guy's absolutely cut. Every moment they can, they're taking his top off and showing you how built he is now, right? He's just ripped. It is a little bit of a Taron Egerton sort of wank fest, right? Which is, I get it. Most of all these shows are like that. It's the beefcake thing, right? What was the other one we were watching? What was the one with where they were out in space?
Space
Foundation. The Foundation.
Oh yeah. The guy was always had his top off, wasn't he?
He always had his top off, right? Yeah. At least once in the episode they get his top off. So I get it. Anyway, so then the FBI or whoever it is go to Taron Egerton in the prison and say, "There's this guy he's locked up. We're absolutely certain that he's killed all these women, right? But something's not sticking, and he's going to get out again. And we need to find the body of his last victim to get him nailed. We need you. What we want is someone to go into the Supermax prison or where he's being kept, befriend him, find out where he buried the last body, and then we'll cut your sentence down, right?" He's like, "No, fuck you." I mean, it's not a great series. There's a lot of faff in it, right? He's like, "Fuck you."
For a TV series these days.
Who would have thought it, right? And then finally, but he accepts it, and then he goes in. And actually, I mean, there is probably about 30 to 40%. I spend a lot of my time just fast forwarding stuff. Like it is just it's fluffed out
Have you heard that thing where they deliberately make bullshit scenes so that you can look at your phone because they know everyone's got a short attention span?
100% can believe it. Like it's
like,
just
this is the point where you're supposed to tweet about, or you don't do that anymore, obviously, because that's not a thing. But you skeet about it or whatever, or put on Facebook or whatever the comments about whatever you've been watching. This is the 5 minutes where you've got a window to do that because fuck all's happening in the TV show.
Like, there's tons of that. Like they just 10. It's staggering how long it takes him to walk across the prison yard, but between scene changes. Anyway,
did he have his top off as well while he was doing that?
But it's really good because it's and I say it's really good, but the parts of it that I'm enjoying is the interaction. Like whoever the killer guy is, he's really good. They really nailed it with him, and they do a.
Does
really
he look
good
like a killer? Is he he's not hot and fit like Darren Edgerton? He's
I think you're pretty
psycho.
much. The whole premise of it that's really good is originally the bad guy was never treated seriously by the county, wherever that it was, or the local police, was because he kept leading them on. They feel he was like, he would admit to the crimes, but they never thought he did them.
Right.
And then they finally nailed him for him. And now there's all this self-doubt. And then Taron Egerton commits himself to going into this loony prison, right? Where nobody is, like it's way beyond the prison he was at before. I think what do they call it? People, basically, 100% evil people are in this prison, right? He's like, I don't really, I know I'm a bad guy. I've done bad things.
Bad things,
but
not on this level.
I'm not that broken, right? I'm not morally broken.
I just, put.
And then he gets in there, and then you're like, then they're like, and then the FBI communicate to him like, they're actually thinking maybe he didn't actually do them. And he's like, well, if they didn't do them, I'm fucked. How do I get out of here? Like, so there's all this counterplay. And does the guy know that he's like, he confronts him about lying about things and all that. So that sort of interplay is quite good. Anyway, I'm waffling a bit now, but check it out, but bring your fast forward button.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to. Well, my wife keeps going on about a program on Disney Plus called Paradise that I should watch.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, it's a big thing, I think, at the minute, but I ain't watched it. I did watch one thing. We talked about it before. Ludwig, do you remember that? Dave talked about it ages ago, and I watched a couple of episodes, and I was like, "This is really good." Like David Mitchell, who's remember from Peep Show. Yeah. So he's in it. He's like the main guy. He plays his absent brother because they're twins. He pretends to be his brother, who was a policeman. So he commits a huge crime of impersonating a police officer for his what do you call that? It's not your wife. What the fuck is it called? Oh my god, completely brain farting. Your brother-in-law, sister-in-law. That's what it's called.
Sister-in-law. Okay.
Yeah. And so she pleads with him to try and find out what the fuck's going on with her husband who just disappears. So he impersonates her husband, his brother, as a police officer to try and find out what the fuck happened to him. But then ends up basically staying on as the copper and solving loads of weird fucking cases.
All right.
Because he's like this next level intellectual. Like both of them are fucking super clever and weird. But yeah, he's a puzzle setter. And his like code name is Ludwig, and no one knows who he really is. And yeah, so I watched the last episode of that today. I missed loads in between. I watched the first two, and then I just watched the last episode with her. She had it on, and I was like, she's like, I forgot fed up with waiting for you two to watch this with me, so I've been watching loads of it, and this is the last one. And I was like it got up, but I was like, she was watching it while I was cooking dinner, so I was earwigging what was going on. And after dinner, I was like, come on then, let's watch the rest of it then, because I'm really intrigued to know what the fuck's been going on and what's going to happen. So I missed loads in between, but actually, it's good. I should have watched the other ones in between. I probably would have enjoyed it, really. So, but yeah, a big recommend if you like. You're kind of... It's a bit funny, because obviously he's a bit funny, and plays a weird guy. Probably plays himself, largely. But yeah, it's funny. Not super hilarious, but one of those like,
right,
and but very clever and all that sort of shit.
No, and your wife liked it, so if your wife liked it,
she loved it.
That could be good,
yeah. I should have watched the rest of it, but I just don't watch fucking telly.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Okay, what have I got? Driving. My son started driving, took him out
Oh.
today.
Is
He
he?
did
Do
all
they have
right.
driver's ed at school at in Canada?
Yeah, so he's done 10 hours of classroom theory now.
Right.
And now he's doing 10 hour, and he did an online something or other, and now he's doing 10 hours of lessons.
Paid for.
Yes, paid for, yes.
Out of
Absolutely
his
paid
money.
for. No, not totally.
Is it
We
super
actually,
expensive over there as well? It's a
so
shit time to
that's,
learn to drive, surely, when it's just had a massive snowfall.
yeah, well, actually, we delayed it. You know, he just took the first lesson in the car this week because definitely last week was not good. Yeah, what is
Your
it? So
first
he's doing
experience of driving is like, oh,
yeah,
it's 3 feet of snow.
his 10 hours of classroom and his 10 hours of driving in car lessons is, I think, $650.
That's not that bad compared to over here.
I figure
We
that's
don't have
okay.
classroom lessons here, but it's like £35 to £40 an hour driving lessons.
Yeah, so you're at 350,
So
400
that's more,
quid.
yeah,
Yeah,
for 10. So
it's
that's
yeah,
like
it's a little bit
a
more.
lot more.
Yeah,
It's
not a
like
massive amount.
$700 or whatever for like
Yeah,
10 hours.
yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. But today, yeah, we went for lunch today, so he drove me to lunch, which was fun.
So you're allowed to like be in the car as his like instructor, inverted commas.
Yeah,
Sort
as
of
long
thing.
as he's with me, he can drive.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So that's cool.
Do you have to put him on your insurance then? Or do you just have to
Yeah,
put
didn't
your
we
slip
have this
seats?
discussion? My
I don't
insurance went
remember.
down. Don't you
Oh,
remember?
that's it. Yeah. Weird.
Which was mental.
Considering it's not like a dual controlled vehicle, it's like you didn't have
Yeah.
like that whole extra pedal set put in
No,
like
no,
they have
no.
in real
Yeah.
cars.
No, the insurance apparently putting your, because the child is going to drive only with you next to them, they don't really consider it an increase in insurance cost. But also because my son is in a union, then it actually, they got a discount with my insurance provider. So that's
Oh,
why my
nice.
insurance ended up going down, which is bizarre. So
Yes.
yeah, that's going on. That's good. So we went to lunch and whatever, and we got back safely. So that's good. What else have I got? Oh, hardwired my Apple TV.
Ah,
So
yes.
when my wife was out, I drilled a hole in the living room floor and ran a cable up from the basement. So that's been done. It's only a matter of time before she sees that I've done that, but for now, it's done.
What, is it a
But
massive hole? It's like a 6-inch hole in the floor.
it's only about like 3/4 of an inch
A
just to get
penny.
the cable through.
A
So
penny
yeah, about a
sized.
penny. Yeah, penny size hole. So
Yeah, well, like
um,
what happened with ours? Because I said to you, obviously, I'm in the ground floor, and the main lounge is like in the middle floor upstairs. But I've put like the phone comes into where I am, but the router is upstairs, so I run a cable, Cat7 Ethernet, up through goes through the floor upstairs. But what happened here is when we had the floor put in upstairs, it was like laminate flooring, and we had new skirting boards. There's basically a big piece of skirting board that's not actually glued to the wall, so
oh
I
yeah,
can just move that and like run a cable up through there. So the upstairs it doesn't look too bad, and everything's just like you wouldn't know it's not stuck to the wall because it's like stuff pushing
I
it
have some
against the
of
wall.
those. Yeah, I have some of those. Nobody knows.
No, but there's
So,
like behind the sofa, there's a bit of a gap in the skirting board basically where just the cables drop through the floor, and then I drilled a hole in the ceiling down here to poke it through. But yeah. I've like, oh, I should really like cut a channel in the wall and push the cable in behind and all that shit, and then face it off properly. And that I'm like, nah, fuck that. I've just got a bit of trunking running down my wall.
honestly, I mean, I'm looking at my bathroom needs to be redone. My kitchen is desperately needs to be done. I'm just like, fuck this. I'm just going to move.
Oh, yeah.
Just to get the fuck out of here. Just get me to another house.
Can you remember how much of it? I'd love to move to a nice place. Like, we're not sitting on a gold mine here, exactly. So, but I'd love to have like a nice place. I kind of want to move to a nice place in the country, but then I think, yeah, it's quite convenient being good roads near big hospitals and things like that. Like
Yeah,
they've
that's
proved to be
huge.
quite convenient recently.
That's huge. Yeah. I mean, we look at a lot of places, a lot of properties out of town, right? You know, obviously Canada has a lot of land, a lot of space, right? So you can go out into the country and find places. But you forget, right? You're going to go into the country, your internet's going to be shit. Let's just start there, right? You're probably not going to be plumbed into the gas
if you want
lines.
good internet, it's going to cost you about 150 quid a month.
Well, that's even, yeah, but I mean, even that's not even a big deal. Like you go out into the country. You're not on a gas line, right?
No.
So your propane has to be delivered. You have to have a
You
tank
probably
on
haven't got
site,
any
right?
sewage.
You probably haven't got sewage, so now you need to have a septic system. You're miles from a Home Depot if you need a screw, like just stuff like that. Just I'm just like, I think that the grass
But
could
if
definitely
you're
be
living
greener.
2 minutes away from a nice country pub, that might make up for a lot of that.
That's true, and you adjust to the fact that you don't need it. Oh, I haven't got the screw, can't do the job.
Oh well.
What are you gonna do?
And I've had 10 pints at the local, so I ain't going anywhere.
But yeah, the problem is we don't have any locals out in the country right here. That's not what we have. Anyway, so yeah, I wired up the Apple TV. The reason I did it was because there are two reasons, but what prompted me, I wanted it wired for Steam Link, so Steam Link would be better. But actually, I was watching a lot of programs, and it was coming up network not connected, network not connected, network not connected, and I was like, crap. All right, so maybe it's just the Wi-Fi signal isn't strong enough.
Is
So
it a
anyway,
long way from the router?
It's never been an issue before, but it turns out my modem was failing, so I've got that has arrived. I've got to replace that this weekend. So if my internet drops out, that's why. Because it's shit right now. Yeah, but yeah, so I've got that wired, and Steam Link should be good now, good to go. So we'll get.
Did you have a little
testing.
dabble? Did you say you tested it?
Only I put Animal Well on there very quickly, and just to see, even just the literally 10 seconds of going back and forth, and jumping on a few platforms.
Okay, feels all right, sort of thing.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
I'm not falling to my death every 2 seconds.
No, I certainly didn't go ooh and vomit on the spot.
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, it was all right. So
that is
so
a pretty simple looking game, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll run some other things on it. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
You can't do Punch Showdown on it, obviously, but put Assetto Corsa on. See how that feels.
I was thinking about putting a driving game on, see how that goes. Anyway, we'll see. And then I suppose the other thing to talk about is, this is my last one, then we can do yours, is just tackling the ice. I mean, I think I told you, we had like the melt, and then did I talk about the icicles last week?
Did you? You definitely spoke about them. I can't remember if that was on the show.
Yeah, so basically the melt and the freeze off the roof created just insane icicles off everyone's houses. I mean, massive. And I had to get out there and
stalactites
and knock them off. Yeah, real life stalactites. And I got out my window. I leaned out my window, and I got this stick, and I was banging off the icicles or whatever like that. And then there was one big chunk of ice about the size of a briefcase of icicles. And it was going as a chunk. It wasn't going as single icicles. It was going as a chunk. And I was like, that's going to be a problem when that goes. But I was like, it has to go. Like the weight on it. That's the problem, right? This is a lot of weight pulling down.
A few kilos.
Yeah, pulling down on my guttering, right? And I was like,
did you just get a blowtorch on it?
I was thinking about that, but no, that's just
kitchen blowtorch just down out the window.
What could possibly go wrong doing that? And I just Hail Married it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna Hail Mary it. I'm gonna whack it off. Yeah. And I knocked it off. It crashed down, hit my barbecue, broke the side tray on my barbecue, bounced off the side tray that it was breaking off my barbecue, and crashed through the window well on my basement. So yeah, that was
break the window.
No, the window well. So the window is below. The window from my basement is below ground level. Yeah. So there's like a well. Right. And then on top of that well, you have like a plastic cover, so it lets light in, but stops all the leaves and shit going into it, right? And yeah, it just landed on that and crashed and broke it. So I got to fix that. I looked at the barbecue. I've used my barbecue twice. Used it yesterday and used it today. It's fine. It still cooks.
Be like,
we're all right.
If that had happened here, and it had fallen on my barbecue, if it had fallen on one side, that would have been fine. If it had fallen on the other side, that could have been a bit of an issue because there's like gas pipes on.
Oh,
Because
you've
there's
got a
like
burner on the other
a
side.
burner on one side and there's not on the other side. So if it hit the non-burner side, it probably would have been fine, other than annoying. But yeah, could have been a bit more of an issue if there'd been like gas lines involved, for sure.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah. So, well, luckily it didn't hit my gas line or anything like that. So
that would have
anyway,
been a
it's
big
all
problem.
good. So yeah, and then, but did I tell you about my sandbagging? So I put sandbags up on my garage door. Did I talk about that?
I
So the
don't remember
problem
you
I have,
talking about sandbagging is that's the thing.
yeah,
In
it's not
like,
sand. Well, it's using sandbags. So and then I'll just be quick because I'm rambling now. But every year I have tons of snow. It melts, and then it pools around my garage door, and then it freezes overnight, right? And then my garage door is like literally stuck in ice, and I can't get my garage door open for days because that pool suddenly creates like a big block of ice that doesn't go easily. And so I have
that's
to
why you
say
need a blowtorch.
so I said, yeah. So I say every year, you know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna preemptive. I'm gonna put some sandbags down, try and stop that water pooling there. So I did that, and then I also put a block of wood underneath the garage door, so it doesn't go. So when it freezes, it's freezing the wood, not the garage door. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So the garage door now comes down and closes on top of a
Is
two
it
by.
like one that rolls down? Then? It's not
It's
like a
electric.
hinge door.
Yeah, it rolls down. Yeah, it's
Right.
electric. Yeah. So yeah, it's beauty. That worked. That was a
You
success.
genius. You
Oh,
fucking
mate.
genius, Fraser.
Yeah, I know. I'm pleased with that. So that's good. So I can get into my garage for once this winter. So
What's in your garage?
everything.
Not car.
No car, no. Lots of
Is your
tools and
garage onto the side of your house, or is it like part
It's
of your
in
house?
no,
sort
it's
of
a
thing?
part of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's underneath my son's room.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Amazing. Yeah. All right, what do you got?
Well, I talked about Ludwig, which I didn't put on here. But yeah, we had quiz night last night down the boot. It's once a month. Last Thursday of the month, last week, yesterday even. Also, my mum's birthday. So we got them to come to the pub with us. Had dinner at the pub and then did the quiz.
Oh, I didn't know you'd done the quiz with your parents too.
Yes.
Nice.
So we had dinner at the pub to celebrate my mum's birthday, and then we stayed for the quiz. Expensive night, not gonna lie. But we came joint second in the quiz with the additional brain power of my parents and my brother. Not sure he added a lot, to be honest. But we play. We have always talked about this. We have the joker round where you get an opportunity to play a joker on one round, you get double points. And we had the Rizzle Kicks round this month. Remember, I said that the losers of the last round choose the next special round, and it was Rizzle Kicks music. Right. So we did not play our joker on Rizzle Kicks, and we got 5 out of 10 on the Rizzle Kicks round, which was okay. We did play our joker on British history, and we got 10 out of 10 on British history. I said, no pressure, Dad, but I've picked this round because you're good at history. He was like, I'm not that good at history. And then we got 10 out of 10.
And it turned out he was.
He was all right. It was like a lot of stuff about kings and queens and shit like that. I was like, you fucking know loads about it. He's like, no, I don't. I was like, yes, you fucking do. You know all that old shit. You old people had to learn all that bollocks.
Yeah, that's right. They had to learn it at school. Yeah. They don't know what they know.
Yeah. And all of it all just comes out when you do a quiz. So yeah, we joint second. A bit annoying. 3 points off the winner.
They enjoyed it though. Your mum had a good birthday.
I hope. Yeah, it was nice to see them, and we had a nice time. And hopefully they're going to join us again next month. But maybe we won't have dinner. If we do have dinner, I'm not fucking paying for everybody again.
You've done your bit.
Yeah, that was birthday present money. Oh yeah, and I had to say, obviously, the quiz special round was about Rizzle Kicks music. So you have to pick a team name. Some people, boring people.
I don't know what Rizzle Kicks is. Sorry, should I know what that is?
It's music. If you search it up, you'll love it. It's right up your street. No,
I don't think it is it?
They're okay. They're okay, but
what is it? A band?
It's not your thing. Yeah, a band. I don't know. It's a duo, I think. I can't remember the names. So you have to pick your team name, right? And there's a team always called Quiz on My Face at the boot, and we change our team name pretty much every time we go anywhere, and it's usually something we have to come up with on the day. And so this month they're going on about, everyone's like, oh, this, that, and I was like, how about Quizzle Kicks? Because it's about Rizzle Kicks. And we've had Quizzy Rascals in the past. That's a thing, Dizzy Rascal. So yeah, you've heard of him, have you?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So we went with Quizzle Kicks, and I was thinking he was going to say, oh, they've already taken that. The people who chose Rizzle Kicks, they didn't fucking choose that. I was like, it's right there for you. You chose the fucking subject, and you didn't take that name. Shocking. No imagination, some people. Barely a bit of imagination from us, obviously.
Disgraceful.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember the next specialist week round. I can't remember now. But it wasn't music related. I was like, phew, because some music I'd be alright on, but that was like, oh, fucking. I remember them when they were little kids. Rizzle Kicks was around, and there was a couple of tunes. I was like, this is alright, boppy, like happy tunes, but not a thing I'd listen to normally. But they were okay.
You were listening to a lot of music the other night, weren't you?
Oh, well, I was up quite late, just went down a bit of a rabbit hole. It was like, oh, it was just like click, next. Oh, this one's all right. Post it in the Discord. Yeah. And then I fell asleep watching the DJ set, which was like a 2-hour DJ set. I woke up.
Who was that? The Boris Brejcha one?
Boris Brejcha one. It was actually started off, I was like, this is banging. I like this. It's really
not
good.
A bad set, that one. Yeah, it's got, so it goes a little bit on a direction. Not my cup of tea on some of it.
I don't know. I fell asleep for a good hour of it because it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. But there we go. But yeah, that looks all right. That sounded all right. Well, the start of it, definitely. I was like, oh, this is all right. And then I got a bit tired. You told me to go to bed, but I didn't quite make it.
I always tell you to go to bed.
Yeah.
Your new dad. No, you don't.
Anyway,
don't listen to you.
Probably. That's where they get it from, I guess.
Anyway.
That's all the nonsense. Is it out of the way?
I think so, yeah. I don't know what else there is to tell.
My wife's opening up 10 minutes about video games.
Well, my wife's opening up a new store this weekend, so that's nice. Oh. Yes.
So what's that?
Yep.
How many?
Well, actually, it's the 5th store she's opening.
Right.
But it's not the 5th store. It's the 2nd store. So she was in one location.
They didn't work out.
That was temporary. No, it was temporary. Then they went for a permanent location, so it's a second shop. Then they had to move out of that one because the lease ran out. So they moved into another one. So even for the third one was still the first one, effectively. Then they opened another store in another area, which didn't work out. Didn't really get the traffic they wanted. So that they shut that one down, and now they're opening another one in another mall. So yeah,
fingers crossed.
Busy
big
times.
Success.
Busy times. Let's hope so.
You can retire.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think
that's the plan, is it?
We need some success before that's going to happen. It's a lot of hard work in the early stages.
Yes.
But yeah,
building
they're doing
a business
great stuff.
is hard.
Yes, it is. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so she's working her arse off.
Good that she's got something. I can't imagine taking that risk. Like we was talking about the other night about self-employed people and stuff like that.
Stress. Yeah, the stresses of being an employer or being self-employed, or
not just going to a job and going, thank you very much, I'll take my money at the end of the month, and hoping that business doesn't go bust, but actually running your own business with no fallback, if you like.
Yeah.
It's quite daunting, but exciting, I imagine, as well.
Yeah, for sure. You're in charge of your destiny, right?
If you find something that you love doing, that's great.
My wife absolutely loves it, so I mean, she's fine. She's fine. So yeah, so it's exciting. Yeah. All right. Well, look, let's move on then to what we've been playing.
I need to grab a drink, and would be a good moment to have a 2-minute break.
All right, let's just have a quick break then. Yep.
Right, back in a moment.
Okay, are we back?
We are.
All right, good.
Video games.
Yeah,
This is where
video
you insert the
games.
jingle, the new jingle that you're doing.
The new jingle that's coming one day. You'll be surprised to know that I haven't really played too much.
Doesn't sound like you.
No. I have played some Balatro. Should I just start
What were
with
you
that?
playing on the PlayStation before? Weren't you playing something on the PlayStation?
I don't think so. No. I'm trying to think. Did I load anything else up? I don't think so. Not that I can think of.
I didn't try any demos this week. It's been Steam Next Fest, and I haven't tried any demos.
No, I just haven't had
The inclination.
the inclination, or it feels like the time. Yeah, I guess that maybe some of the time is there. But if I'm going to play, like I say, if I'm going to play some games, we're playing some other things. No, I did. I did sort of sneakily went back onto the Balatro crack pipe again this week. I don't know what happened. I was sitting there thinking, I just have some people on one of the forums I'm in were talking about Balatro.
And it came to Game Pass was big news this week.
Yeah, so it was in the news about that, as well. So Balatro's been on, been mentioned quite a few times this week. But I was like, you know what? And I was like, I killed Balatro. I did it to death. I'm sick of it. Like vodka, I never want to touch it ever again in my life. That's what it sort of feels like. And then one of the guys in the forums was going, I cannot finish the red deck. I can't finish a red deck run.
Is that when you went, oh, I haven't done that either?
And I was like, what? You can't finish a red deck run? And I was thinking, he was like, yeah, I've done the other decks and all that. They're okay. So he obviously had unlocked other decks and through the stakes, unlocked other decks and whatnot. And he was fine, but he still couldn't get the red deck. And then I ended up like posting some tips on what I do when I'm playing or whatever, the sort of strategies that I use or whatever. And then it just started snowballing from there. Anyway, all I want to do is play Balatro again. So that's not good. But luckily Steam Link's working, so I can play loads of Balatro upstairs in the living room.
Oh, did you play on the controller?
I can do, yeah, if I want to.
Have you got like a... Does it do mouse and keyboard? Or could you use your iPad as a controller on your TV?
No, I use a controller on Balatro with a controller is fine. It's not a big deal at all.
I've not tried that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not too bad.
The Steam the Steam version works with a controller, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, because I was doing Steam Link. I was playing on my
when you had
TV
the iPad
couch
original
on my big TV. Yeah, and
when you were back in the day doing
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Balatro is probably one of those bizarre games. Actually, mouse and keyboard is fine. The controller is fine, and the iPad Touch version is excellent. Yeah, that is the game that keeps on giving.
Bit small on the phone screen, I imagine. I've not played it.
I don't play on the. No, I don't. Oh, I didn't tell you I got a new phone as well.
You did tell me. I don't know if we
spoke about that. Yeah, I got a new phone. Yeah. So for anybody who cares,
it's not the latest and greatest. Is it?
No. So with my contract, every 2 years. Well, or let's just say 2 years ago, they said, hey, we notice you only pay for the service. You don't pay for a phone. Here's an offer, And so I ended up getting an iPhone 12, I think.
What, 2 years ago?
No, 2 years ago. Yeah, I got an iPhone 12, which was more than capable. And it added on like about $20-$30 onto my bill every month. So, it fine. That's okay. Didn't really notice it and managed to get my upgraded phone. So yeah, then the 2 years was up. So I went for an iPhone. I wanted to not pay any more per month than I was paying already. I did not want to submit invoices to my work that were suddenly more. So but I ended up getting an iPhone 14 Pro Max, and it was half the cost.
Oh.
Like only about 15.
It's because they're on 16s now.
Yeah.
I've got a 14 standard, which I bought over 2 years ago.
Right. Yeah. So. The Pro Max has got a beefier chip, I think,
than the standard 14. I don't know. Your 15 probably had the same as the Pro Max.
Yeah, I think it's got the same chip as the 15, and then the Max is the big screen.
Yeah.
I was like, do I really want a big screen? But yeah, it's fine. It's not.
It's only 6.9 inches. It's not that much bigger than a standard.
I think it's 6.7.
No. It's not like a fucking Samsung phone. It's like basically a tablet in your pocket.
That's what I was worried about. One that's going to look like half a tablet or something, right? So yeah, it's all right. But yeah, it's just another phone, I guess. Not a big deal. But I drop it in there just to drop it in.
Yeah, we've been
Some people
watching
are interested.
Balatro while you've been talking about iPhones.
So that's good.
Anything
Yeah,
more to
so
say about Balatro?
yes, because what's going to be interesting is now I can Steam Link from my PC. I have installed, and I did this a couple of weeks ago, but haven't got round to really playing it. I installed the cryptic. I think it's the cryptic
Cryptic is
mod.
a word.
No, did I install the cryptic mod? Anyway, I've installed this massive mod where like it gives you loads of cards that are like Pokemons and stuff like that. I fired it
Just
up
suddenly
once.
turned it into a trading card game.
Mate, honestly, it's just bonkers. I don't know what's going on with it. I fired it up and I tried to play it and looked at a couple of cards and I was like, I'm basically have to learn this whole game from scratch again. So it looks super interesting. I noticed Balatro University plays this mod and regularly posts videos about this mod. So there must be something in it. So
What's
I
it
am
called?
looking forward to that. It's called the cryptic mod, I
Cryptid.
think.
Cryptid.
Cryptid, yes.
That
Yeah.
comes up in the search.
Right, there you go. That's it. Yeah. So I'm going to get on that. So yeah.
Oh, this. I don't know. That just looks like Balatro at the minute.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on with it. Well, maybe it's not the cryptip. Cryptip may have got that wrong. Anyway, I will report. I will report.
Look forward to you hearing you get the jitters again whenever you look
Yes.
at a card in real life. Oh God, my boy's messaging me. He wants more time for YouTube now. God, he's just want this boy.
Why do you have to allocate hours then? Or something?
He's got screen time limits on his phone.
Oh.
Because otherwise he just spends all fucking day looking at his phone.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, which is not healthy, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So.
All right, so that's about it for me there.
He's in my room. What do you want? You can't come on here looking like that.
Can't see him anyway.
Tell me not to stop talking about him. Right. I've been playing a game or two, other than the other game, which we might have to mention. Who knows? I've been playing 4 games basically this week. Gran Turismo continues to be a thing. New update this week. They added a stupid car. It's not a car. Okay. It's like a weird truck. It's a Mercedes. I don't know what the fuck it is.
It's a G-Wagon.
Is it?
I don't know.
It's a weird looking thing. It's really tall, really high wheelbase. I don't know what the fuck it is. Looks like it's to do with snow or something. I don't know. And I've been playing the Hunt Show.
Oh, the Unimog.
Yeah, that's the one. What the fuck is that thing then?
I've heard of it before. I don't really know much about it.
It's like a Mercedes, isn't it?
It's a military type sort of vehicle type thing.
What is it doing in Gran Turismo? I looked at it. I was like, what the? Why do they put these stupid cars? It's like there's the VW bus thing, which goes about fucking 40 miles per hour. I'm like, who wants to drive this thing? It's fucking slow as fuck. Anyway, they'll put them in all these racing games. There's always a stupid car no one wants to drive. But I finished Sniper Elite Resistance this week, which is a bit like a DLC for Sniper Elite 5. I guess it's different guy, different main character, but I think it's the same engine. And guess what I did this week, which I hadn't done before in this game.
Nut shot.
I did. I got 2 nut shots. So that was an achievement. And the slow motion. You see,
because you weren't sure if there were nut shots, right?
Oh no, I knew there was one because I see there was an achievement for one. And one of the first things my son did when he played it was get a nut shot. And I was like, oh, I haven't done that yet. But yeah, finally did that. I actually literally, I don't, because I look, you're a sniper. You're supposed to shoot people in the head, not in the nuts. But I was like, well, I'm going to have to do that. And yeah, it is gruesome and gory as it always has been. Seeing someone's testicle explode, basically, as it is penetrated by some lead, hot lead.
That's what we want to see.
That's why we play the game. Well, this is the first time I've actually got through one of these I don't know if it's not as long as the normal ones. But I've definitely played this longer than any of the others I've ever played. I don't know why. Maybe because I knew it wasn't that long. And when it all went to hell in a handbasket, as they say, up north, up over there.
You said it wasn't as bad.
It's like, fuck it, I can still get out, I can still just not die. I can get my submachine gun out and kill people, and then they just keep coming, and I've got enough ammo to fucking murder them all. Set up a couple of traps, maybe knock a couple of them out or whatever. And then once 2 or 3 of them have died, I can loot their bodies and pick up some ammo and probably keep going until they've just run out of people to just throw at me. And there's just this big pile of dead bodies. But there's some of the weapons I feel actually quite nice. Like the sniping's all right. You know, it's pretty good because it's been around a while now. They've kind of perfected
like bolt
that.
action. Do they use
there's like multiple weapons you can unlock. If you find during the missions, there's some workbenches in every mission. So if you find the workbench, you unlock a load of upgrades or other weapons, depending on which one it is and which mission it is. I haven't found all of them. I wasn't going hunting for them, but a couple of them you find, and it's like, oh, you've unlocked. Well, it was called a Lee rifle, which I'm assuming is a Lee Enfield, and that had one of the unlocks I'd unlocked already when I unlocked the rifle was a 15-round clip, a 20-round magazine, but which was great. Other than when you reload, because a lot of there's like 5-round clips, and when you press reload, it had an active reload thing in this game. So if you press the reload button again at the right time, it would like do it a little bit quicker, not loads quicker.
But it would reload. That was the buff. Was it faster?
You got a buff damage in Gears of War, wasn't it?
I used to always, you got a buff damage in Gears. I used to always love the fact that it's those ones that you miss and then it jams it, and it's like your whole
it didn't feel like you were really getting punished in Sniper Elite. If you missed it, it was like it didn't suddenly just like fuck you over and take loads to reload. It was just like, I don't know, just slightly slower. And anyway, so I had a big gun with loads of ammo in it, but with the Lee, as it's called in the game, if you reloaded it, there was no active reload because you just literally like bang, 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 pitting like round after round after round after round until you got to 20 back in it. But yeah, I don't know. I quite enjoyed it. It was just it wasn't too stressful. There's like no great story. You're playing alongside the French resistance and you're trying to make sure that D-Day happens.
For the painting of the Madonna with the big boobies.
No, it's not LOLO. No, you basically have to make sure there's some shit going on with the Germans, the baddies, if you don't remember that. The Nazi baddies.
Nazis are bad people, remember that.
Yep. They were doing some bad shit with some stuff that meant that D-Day might have gone badly wrong. Remember when the Americans used to like Europe? That was a thing that they helped in Europe back in those days. So yeah, but you're a British guy, and it's all British. The British forces and all that stuff, alongside the French resistance. But when you finish the game, you unlock the ability to go through and play as other characters, which is like the French resistance characters. I was like, I ain't playing it again. It was all right, but I don't think I'm going to play it again. But yeah, I feel like I don't know. I didn't play 5, I don't think. So maybe they've just tightened everything up a bit. But it looks quite nice. It's not AAA or anything, but it was solid.
Never have been there.
It didn't fuck up. It was like every time I closed the game, weirdly, it would say it had crashed. I was like, I literally just told you to close the game, and as it closed, it would go, "Oh, we need to send an error report." I was like, I just fucking told you to shut the game down, and you fucking.
We love a bit
why
of
are you
jank.
doing that?
We love a bit of jank. It keeps us grounded.
How did that crash? I literally said quit to desktop, and you quit to desktop. But for some reason, you've told me it's crashed. I was like, I don't understand. But anyway, I sent the error reports off because basically it was like, there's no error as far as I'm concerned, but maybe it told them something. But yeah, it's all the stuff that's in there. You can go around and sabotage generators. You pick up, for some reason, when you enter your mission, you're missing a couple of vital pieces of equipment that you have to find around about, like a crowbar and a pair of bolt cutters, which may assist you. But there's always, in every single mission, there's a crowbar somewhere, which means you can open crates to get ammo or open fuse boxes to like pull the wires out and cut power and stuff like that. Or if you've got the bolt cutters, obviously you can use them to cut padlocks off things. But if you don't have the bolt cutter, you can use a lockpick, which just takes a bit longer. But also the bolt cutters will allow you to cut holes in fences in certain places where it's allowed, not everywhere. So it's just a bit weird.
All right, yeah. All right.
But yeah,
that's an anti-cut fence there. This fence is okay.
This is bolt cutter proof. This part of fence, which looks exactly like the part you can cut through. But yeah, it's weird like that. Video game rules, isn't it? I guess. Well, yeah, there was no. It didn't break, apart from, like I say, when it told me it had crashed when it hadn't. Looks nice. Plays as you would like it to. It's a third-person kind of thing, but apart from when you go into sniping mode, obviously, when you go into first-person snipe mode. And if you can change the difficulty. So it's because normally there's like, you press spacebar on mouse and keyboard, and you go into called deep lung.
Like you're breathing steady.
So you go slow. You breathe. You just basically stop breathing. But obviously, the longer you hold it, the more your heart rate goes up, and you can only hold it so long before you're fucked. And if you can change the difficulty mode, but what happens in deep lung is you get like a on the scope. Sorry, I'll start back there. On the scope, you can change the target range. So you can sort of press Q and E on keyboard, and it will change from like 50, 100 meters, 200 meters, 300 meters, however it goes up. I can't remember, depending on which scope you're on. And there'll be a little bar at the right-hand side that signifies how much you need to aim higher or lower than what you're actually pointing at to hit it.
Right.
And then there's also, at the top of the scope, there's a vertical bar, which shows you basically how much left and right wind there is to like account for. And in normal basic mode, standard mode, it basically shows you like the drop on the scope. So you just aim it slightly up, and then when it's ready, it'll go like a big red diamond, and that's when you press click and shoot the bullet, and it goes into slow-mo and you see the head explode. Or if you go into the higher difficulty mode, you can have to do that, or it'll show you the markers on the side and the top of the scope, but you have to account for it yourself.
Right.
And but I've done that a couple of times where you just like bang and you nail a headshot. It's pretty satisfying if you nail it. But I was like, I can't be asked with fucking missing a load of headshots.
Right.
I don't want it to be a stressful experience. I just wanted to enjoy myself. It was it's relaxing in a bizarre way, shooting people in the head in slow motion, and seeing their brains getting they're mangled about inside their skull. As a bullet like deforms and bounces around inside potentially, and then exits somewhere else. It's quite gruesome.
Exits out of their ear.
Yeah, but bizarrely relaxing.
Yeah,
I don't know what that says about me, but there you go. It was a relatively non-stressful gaming experience.
Well, there is that, and then of course, your combat sniping or whatever. I mean, it's very rare you can sort of take a shot at someone in Hunt without it devolving into a full-scale fight and super stressful, right? So
yeah, I mean, this thing is like there's the mechanics like. You can, if you like I said, going back to the workbenches, if you find certain workbenches, you unlock suppressors for the rifles, which obviously makes them quieter. Every rifle is got loads of stats attached to it, and one of the stats that it will show you is what the audible range is. So some of them are like 150 meters because they're fucking loud, and others are like 100 meters, but if you bang a silencer on it, it might drop to 50 meters, which means you can pick people off as long as there's no one anywhere near you. You'll be picking people off all day long with the suppressor on, and fucking no one knows where you are. Whereas if it's 100 odd meters, it's usually a few people, and they're like, "Huh? What was that?" And then they run off and fucking send the alarm off, and that's when shitloads more people tap. Excuse me. But yeah, I don't know how I've managed to speak about it so long, but I actually quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
As an experience.
Well, no,
Probably
that's right. If you
uninstall it now.
enjoyed it.
And I did find myself going, maybe I should play. Is Sniper Elite 5 on Game Pass? I feel like that was on Game Pass. And I looked and I was like, I think it's still on Game Pass. The full Sniper Elite 5. But
that might be that might turn your experience, because you're going to be going back to the kind of experience that this one.
I don't know, because I didn't play 5. I've played 4 for sure.
Maybe check it out.
And maybe that went to shit a bit too often for me. Or
check
maybe I was just had something else going on at the time. But yeah, they're actually decent. They're not amazing, but they're decent, solid games there. If you want to shoot some people in the nuts, maybe. Nazis, that is. Or in the head, or in the lungs, or in the neck, or in the eyes. Anyway, it's part of the head, but eye shot is definitely a thing that happens.
Zombie Army Trilogy, it was Nazi zombies, wasn't it?
Yeah. Super bad Nazis.
Yeah.
Dead Nazis that don't die.
Yes.
Can't think of anything worse.
Undead zombies. All right.
But
that's good.
If you've got Game Pass, you could check it out.
Yeah. All right. Jesus, I was about to ask you, have I talked about Balatro yet? Of course I have.
You literally just talked about it.
I know.
Did I talk about Sniper Elite for that long that you'd forgotten that you're speaking about Balatro?
What year is it? You've got one more on your list. Do we want to talk about Hunt Showdown first, or do you want to? Is there anything to talk about in Hunt Showdown?
Oh, I don't know. We had a decent night last night. Only a couple of games. Had the old bow and arrow out.
Yeah, it was fun with the bow.
Killed a couple of people. It's quite satisfying when you kill someone with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, I think it's quite nice when the events are over and you get a complete change of pace. I was interested. We watched a video. I think most of us have watched it, that I pinned in the Balatro Discord, about 10 sort of bizarre ways to kill people in Hunt Showdown. That's piqued my interest. I'd like to go try some of those out.
One of them was like shooting red barrels with a flare pistol. I was like, what's the difference between that and shooting them with the Bornheim with incendiary rounds in? It's the same thing.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I didn't really. I think he was.
You get more bullets to do it with.
Yeah.
I guess it's the whole I actually used a flare pistol to do that instead of a gun with more bullets. Yeah. But there was the couple, like I don't know. There's some videos. Maybe post it in the actual podcast Discord. Maybe. And then people who are into that kind of thing want to watch it.
Yeah.
All
right.
But yeah, bit of bow action last night. You watched me murder a few folks before we joined up together. That was quite good.
It was the one game where I killed myself straight away by accident. I ended up
it wasn't straight away. We'd done a little bit of a mooch. We'd got all the clues and we'd found out where the boss was, and there were some people there, as I recall. And then I was like, "You died," and I was like, "What happened there?" Then he went, "And would you like to elaborate on what happened?"
Well, I'm not exactly sure what happened. I think I went to change from my pistols to my bow, and I end up switching. I think I scroll wheeled too far, and I scroll wheeled to a concertina bomb instead of my bow, and I ended up.
So you were realizing you were like pulling it. You were meant to be pulling your bow, were you? And you actually were like.
I don't know, but I think I went and I selected the concertina bomb by accident, and I pressed release it, right, the left mouse button, and it was just too late, and I was like, oh shit. And I did the worst thing. I wasn't quick enough to think. If I'd aimed at the door, I would have thrown it out the door, but instead I was looking at the wall, and I knew
in front of you.
It was all, and it was really bizarre. It all happened in slow motion. Like in my brain, it was all happening in slow motion. I was like, oh fuck, as I knew it was gonna come and hit that wall, and I was like, this is going to kill me. I think I did try and run away, but I knew in my heart of hearts, I was like, this is going to kill me. And and the next thing I know, I was completely enveloped in razor wire, and
I had to
I
come
should
and
have just
throw a stick of dynamite on you to
I should have just
remove
stayed
all the
still.
razor wire.
I don't know whether you would. I don't know. I
Did you
fucked it
move
up
around
anyway.
then? Yeah,
I
I don't know.
thought
All
maybe
of
I
it
could try
literally
and
just
walk
went
out of it.
dead. I was like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Who's killed you? Oh, it was you that killed you.
So that sort of put a dampers on that because we knew the boss. We were at the boss area, and then there were loads of people in, but we didn't. We didn't
Didn't
leave. We
panic.
started.
Didn't panic.
Oh, right,
I had
dream
to
team.
like there was people fighting each other. I was like, okay, so that's what I say. I had to come around, chuck a big dynamite bundle on the concertina wire to get rid of it all because I didn't have anything else to get rid of this. I was like, well, I've got no knives or anything sharp to get rid of the concertina. Because only certain things remove concertina wire. One of them was dynamite, which was the only thing I had, thankfully. Got you back up. What happened after that? We fucking killed the last couple of people. Well, you did. And then we fucking got out with all the bounties.
No, we did well. Yeah, no, you were distracting that guy up the. Well, we'd already were hassling them. The best thing was we were hassling them with the bow, and the best thing about the
they
bow
had
is
bows as well. That was the good thing.
Yeah, but
it was a bow
but
battle.
yeah, but we knew where they were, and they didn't know where we were. That was the nice thing. Like I was just firing bow and shots at them. I ended up killing one of them in the ground floor. But yeah, you were engaging them up the top. I ran behind and killed off the final guy as you were distracting him. Yeah, it was good. It was a
good.
proper result. We did well.
Yeah.
Did
It was
well.
nice.
Yeah, it was great.
Another little
Nice
magical moment in Hunt Show.
Yes. Because I think we were bitching and moaning before that. Certainly the night before, I think we were.
Well, there's been a couple of nights it's been horrible.
Yeah.
But last night was a good night.
Yeah. Well, yep. Hunt giveth and hunt taketh.
Yes. There you go. That's your Hunt Showdown for the month. Oh, it's the last day of the month. We can start again next week.
Have we heard about a new event yet?
No. Nothing.
Yeah. All right.
Nothing. I've heard about something that I'm intrigued by.
Oh, yeah?
AMD graphics cards.
What about them?
Coming out next week. Not outrageously priced like their NVIDIA counterparts.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm interested in at the minute. I'm interested in how much the UK pricing is going to be. But yeah. Not the top performance, but a bit of a boost on what I've got without needing a new power supply and new fucking wires for about, well, $600 US. So, I don't know if I'll lose some of the good features that I also get as having an NVIDIA card. So if they've improved the like the noise cancelling and all that shit that the NVIDIA cards do. Apparently, the encoding is better on the new AMD cards than it was previously. But yeah, they look interesting and they're not outrageous. They're not cheap, don't get me wrong. But they're not outrageous money. Anyway, that was an aside. I've got one more game, which I've not played loads of. Played 2 and a bit hours probably of the big Microsoft game, I guess, of this so far this year.
I keep hearing about this, but I don't know anything about it at all.
So it's Obsidian. You've heard of them.
Learn me.
Obsidian, yeah, you've heard of them.
Yes.
They made the best story in Fallout, supposedly. New Vegas. They're RPG specialists, shall we say.
Right.
They made Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2 before that, and they've made... Did they do Wasteland? Was that them? Or was that somebody else? That was in Exile, was it? I can't remember. But yeah, they're good, it turns out, at making video games. And this game appears to be quite good. It's a fantasy game. I didn't think fantasy was my thing, generally, a few years ago. I was more sci-fi. Hence the several thousand hours of Destiny and all that sort of shit. And so this is their latest effort, Avowed. It's been much anticipated.
Looks nice.
I'd say. It does look. I was like, the first impression I had was like, oh, actually, this looks pretty nice. Like graphically, it's like the environments are very colourful, extremely. I don't know. It looks. It's not Sea of Thieves. It's better than Sea of Thieves, but it's that kind of like vibe, I guess. It's like you're on a boat. What are you on a boat? Well, there's definitely a bit where you're on. The story is that you're on the boat.
There's a boat.
Yeah, and you're on the boat, and it's supposed to be going somewhere, but it hits a storm and crashes and stuff. I can't remember everything. And you sort of awake on the beach, shipwrecked. And that's the start of your journey. And after you've created your character, there's some weird shit going on. Can't remember what it reminds me.
Do you have any idea what you're doing?
Some idea.
How much have you played?
Literally a couple of hours. I've not got to the main city that you're supposed to get to before you have a big crash. So I've basically done the tutorial, and you have to have a bit of a fight with a bossy type character who's got a big health bar. It wasn't very hard. He just hit you hard if you fuck up and let him hit you. But everything about it so far, I've been like, it works. This is nice. It feels good. This is not pissing me off in any way. You've got a little guy with you, Garrick. You start with this guy. He's like a small person, blue, with like a beard and big pointy ears. Looks a bit like a Ratchet and Clank type guy, but more realistic version. Not Clank, Ratchet guy. Right. He's your buddy to start with. He's and you're a special person basically. Obviously, because you're in a fantasy RPG. You're referred to as a godlike because when you were born, you've got fungus growing on your head.
Oh.
So you look like a pretty clicker from Last of Us. You can choose which amounts of fungus and where it grows on your head. You can have full fungus on your head and your face, or just small amounts of fungus. Oh wow, the person I'm watching the video, I've killed a cute coloured lemur. I did that as well, just to see if it could. And yeah, you can. I don't know. It's early days for me, but from what I've played so far, it's very nice. Stories is standard fantasy fare. Like I say, you are the chosen one. You're a Deeren or something as your race, and you have to go to this place where they don't like those kind of folk, generally. But you're special, so hopefully everyone's going to appreciate your appearance. Everyone that comments on your physical appearance because you've got this fungus growing out of your head, and there's some plague shit going on, which apparently makes people go a bit crazy. And one of the things that happens to them is they grow this weird fungus on their heads, so that everyone thinks, oh, you're okay, because you've got that weird fungus shit on your head, but you're a godlike, so you have magic powers. Use the magic stuff. You need a book. You start off needing a book to do magic, but I did notice in the skill tree, if you go down the magic line, you can improve one of your skills so that you don't actually have to be holding a book to cast spells. But generally, if you want, at the start, you have to hold the book of spells in one of your hands to cast spells.
Right.
So I have chosen. You get to choose your background. All this, it's like a proper CRPG, isn't it? Classic RPGs, where you go. Like I say, I've played a bit of like those old sort of isometric ones. There's Pillars of Eternity was like that, and there's the other thing that is escaping me at the moment, which is a bit like that. There's another massive RPG that's like that sort of view, fantasy type of thing. But anyway, so yeah, there's lots of like stuff like interacting with your skills and the environment and all that sort of stuff you can do. But I just went, fuck the magic. I'm going to play as a hunter. So I got a bow. You can pick up a bow and arrow. I picked up a bow and arrow. I don't know how it works if you choose different classes at the beginning, whether you find different things. I got an axe. I remember I was listening to Chinny and that they were talking about it. Chinny got an axe. I was like, did he choose the hunter? I don't know. Because I got an axe as my first weapon on the beach. And then I found a bow. And then you meet some person. Oh, there's a side quest when you finally get to the big city that you go to. I can't remember. There was a hint basically somewhere that I saw. Like there was a sign on the wall that was kind of glowy, and it was like something about the man at arms type character. He was like, if you go to this place, blah blah blah, come and see us, sort of thing, and challenge us and all that sort of shit. So I had a fight with the man at arms. It's a woman, and I won. So she rewarded me with a weapon, and they gave you like the choice of 4 things you could pick. And there was like a sword, a dagger, a something else, and a gun.
Oh,
like a pirate gun.
How do you not take the gun?
I'm fucking taking that, aren't I? Because I'm a hunter. But you've got 2 sort of, you can an alternate weapon loadouts effectively. You can like, so I walk around largely at the beginning with I found a shield, so I had a shield and an axe. That's my primary like melee attack, and then my alternative was like a bow, which is 2-handed. So you can't have like a bow and something else. You have to have a bow. Unlimited arrows with a bow. Good. I'm hoping it's unlimited bullets with the pistol, the musket pistol type thing that I picked up as well. Can't remember
what was the reload time on the pistol?
I haven't actually used it. I was like, I don't want to spoil it. That's where I got to, and I was like, well, I'm not going to play now. That's where I'm finishing for the night, and that was last night. So I haven't actually used it yet. But there's a lot of variety, it would appear, in combat. Loads of picking shit up. It does mention the fact that you can become unencumbered, and I was like, I haven't done that yet. But there's not absolutely insane amounts of like, it's not like fucking Skyrim where like pick up the fucking mugs and all that bollocks where you're doing like picking up every piece of shit you find and then realise you don't need most of it. Or Fallout, any of those Bethesda games, you just pick up fucking everything. It's like, I don't need this shit. I've just got an inventory full of total shit. And you're thinking you might be able to sell it further down the line or something, and it's worth absolutely peanuts. But
yep, sounds familiar.
What I've played of it, I'll say, is that I haven't. It's not filled with tons of shit to pick up, as far as I can see. You can pick up some things, but they're usually, so far, like either materials for upgrading your armor / weapons and stuff, which I haven't found the person I need to speak to do that yet. Or health items, or like there's food and stuff. So it's all useful stuff so far that I found, but it's quite early. And like I say, I'm only a couple of hours in. Got to the main city, Paradise, and I picked. Oh, I did do the quest. I met some woman in town, and she was like, "Oh, the Zorips or whatever they're called, the weird little lizard-looking people who you're allowed to kill because obviously they're lizard people. So they're clearly bad. They don't speak.
Obviously.
So yeah, don't feel." She was like, "Oh, you are going to have to kill everyone." I was like, "Yeah, they're fucking lizard folk. I don't care." That's basically. There's some great dialogue options in the little chit chats, and obviously, depending on your background, you have different strengths in different categories. Can't remember what they all are now, but that affects your dialogue options when you get into conversation. So I started as a hunter, so there was a couple of times it was like the hunter option came up. So well, I'm clicking that then because I'm a hunter. And sometimes you do look a bit of a twat. It's like, well, I sound like a right asshole. Well, there you go. It's an RPG. Why not? I'm not a real asshole. Be it in the video game, so you don't be it in real life. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Avowed so far, I've heard loads of positive things about it, and I've enjoyed what I've played of it so far, and I'll play more.
Oh, it's Xbox Game Studios. That's why everyone's playing it.
Game Pass.
Got it.
You can buy it. It's not on PlayStation.
I'm looking at it on Steam here. Buy Avowed Premium Edition on Steam, $120.
You don't need to do that.
No.
You could spend $15 on a month of Game Pass and play it for a month.
You know, I've been off Game Pass for so long now, and I say so long, I mean, it sounds like it's years, but it's not, but probably a good half a year. It's worth dipping back in maybe for a month, see what, it's going to be a ton of stuff.
Like Balatro, have you heard of that?
I have heard of Balatro, yeah. I've never played it on Game Pass, though.
Oh, you could get achievements for your Xbox.
Ooh. How many achievements I could get on my first run?
You, at least.
A couple.
Yeah, probably. But
All
yeah,
right.
Avowed so far looks good.
Looks all right.
Looks very nice in terms of how it looks, but
You
plays.
could be
so far.
wowed by Avowed.
Well, there you go. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Avowed.
But if you only play Hunt, you're a massive bellend.
Yeah. Couldn't think of a word to rhyme with Hunt.
No, I'm stuck. All right. Okay. Well, look, let's call it there then. Short and sweet. Shortish and sweet. Who did we
it's
have?
pretty normal time length generally.
Yeah.
Midsafe said hello, and Sumo was in the chat.
All right. Nice to see you guys. Okay. Good. All right.
Thanks for listening, all the people who do listen without turning up.
Are we doing Dave's outro, or are we just?
We'll save it for Dave. Just go to sealpodcast.com.
Yes, at Seal Podcast. You can usually find. I looked up Seal Podcast the other day on something. I couldn't find us at all, so I don't know what to tell you.
Go to sealpodcast.com and you'll find everything.
There you go. Neil's going to update my mixes too. I
did that earlier. I've done it.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
You've lost one. You've dropped one off that was not replaced by the look of it.
Yeah, I've only 9 on there, bizarrely. I don't know why. I pulled an extra one off.
So yeah, that's been sorted out. If you've been to the tunes page on the sealpodcast.com, you can get your dose of
you can get your dose of techno there.
Yeah.
My Techno Voyages series.
Techno Voyages 50. You can look at me posting random shit throughout the night.
All right. Okay. Well, look, let's get out of here. Thanks to all for listening. Thank you to Neil, as usual, for being a great colleague. And Dave, hope you get well soon. You're a great colleague too, but not when you're not here.
Oh.
So now he is. He's great, Dave. Maybe, I wonder why he's got
a lot of good work for charity.
Did he say he's got a headache? Is that what he said?
He had a smashing headache.
Yeah, does he get migraines? Anyway, not for us to discuss. I was trying to move it into something to do with his neighbor, but I couldn't quite make that happen.
Yeah. Well, it was smashing. It was a smashing headache. I don't know. Has he smashed something else of his neighbors? I don't know.
Who knows? All right. On that bombshell. All right. Let's get out of here. Thanks very much, everyone.
See you soon.
Bye.
Listen soon. Bye.